Hi, my name is Mary Vigue, and I'm the Executive Director for Say Yes here in Guilford County, and I'm here to answer some questions regarding our program. Say Yes to Education is a nonprofit, national nonprofit out of New York City, and it was founded by a man named George Weiss. And George Weiss walked into a room of 112 sixth graders and guaranteed them that they could all go to college and that he would fund it. The nonprofit went on to be formed, and he has cohorts now in Philadelphia, Harlem, Cambridge, and more recently he tried to determine how do we take this notion of preparing and sending our students to college citywide. And they started up in Syracuse, they've moved on to Buffalo, and Guilford is their newest community in which they're in this effort. Say Yes has a three-pronged approach to implementing their programs, and the first is the governance structure, in which it brings about the entire community to come together to address their students' needs. The second are the support services, also known as wraparound services. And these services are designed to make sure our students from pre-K through high school are prepared and ready for both career and college. And the third component to Say Yes are the scholarships. And these are those last tuition dollar scholarships that are provided to all Guilford County students. So Say Yes is going to be transforming, not only for the schools and for our students, but also for the community at large. It's got a huge economic development driver associated. You know, when you have a workforce that is prepared and ready, it brings new businesses to the community. It'll also change the lives of our students. It guarantees them that they'll have the funding they need to go to college. And more importantly, it makes sure that our students, those that may never have gotten to college to begin with, have the supports needed to be successful. So the great part of this is that the class of 2016 will be the first class that is eligible for our scholarships, including those early graduates in December and January. So right now the operating committee, which is made up of various organizations across the community, including our cities, our county, the school system, and the school system, are all working together to determine what are those task forces that we need, which will work together to identify the services that will be provided. We're hoping by the spring of 2016 to have a rollout plan in place of what those services are needed and how we'll roll them out here in Guilford County. So the Say Yes model for public institution scholarships is it guarantees students last dollar tuition at any of our North Carolina public institutions. And we should point out that that is tuition. It does not include books, room and board, or fees. And so it literally is that piece of whatever federal, state, and institutional aid does not cover. So Say Yes National has an amazing relationship with 100+ compact schools throughout the country, all from California to New York to Georgetown. And the great part is when they moved to North Carolina, they included many of our local private colleges and universities, including High Point, Wake, Bennett, Guilford, Greensboro, Laurel. I am missing a whole bunch, but it includes a great number of those. And so our Say Yes scholars, so our students, if family income is at or below $75,000, the institutions themselves guarantee tuition for those students after federal, state, and institutional aid. For families who have income above $75,000, those students can apply and receive what we call a Say Yes Choice Grant of up to $5,000, which is applied after any federal, state, or institutional aid. So Guilford County students are eligible for last dollar tuition at any of our North Carolina public institutions and community colleges. Last dollar tuition is important to note because it's only tuition. It does not include books, room, board, or fees. So it's only that piece of tuition that is not covered by federal, state, or institutional aid. To be eligible, a Guilford County student must be enrolled, must graduate from a Guilford County high school, and it's based on a tiered eligibility basically length of time in Guilford County schools. A student who enters the 6th grade and has continuous enrollment through the 12th grade is eligible for 100% of the scholarship. Students that enter in 7th, 8th, or 9th are guaranteed for 75% of the scholarships. Students that come into the 10th grade are eligible for 50% of the scholarships, and students who come in during their junior year are eligible for 25% of the scholarships. All students have to fill out a financial aid form and what we call a Say Yes certification form that will be available the beginning of February. Say Yes to Education in Guilford County is the scholarships are being funded through our local community foundations. They work together between High Point and Greensboro to raise over $35 million so far here in Guilford County. That funding comes from a whole source of nonprofits, families, donors. It's impressive, and that fundraising effort continues with the work of our scholarship board, who will make sure that we raise more than $70 million here in Guilford County to make the scholarship sustainable over the long term. The scholarships are sustainable through an endowment, and that endowment is estimated to, the need is estimated to be $70 million. We are currently at more than half of that funding already raised here in Guilford, and so we're very excited about that. That endowment will make sure that those scholarships are around for future generations. The programs and services itself that we're getting ready to work with the schools to roll out with our community partners are sustainable because we think about the long term. So it's not about coming into the community and creating new programs and new services with new dollars. It's about taking the services and the organizations that already exist and aligning them with the needs of the communities and with our schools.